Erev Tov, good evening. It is wonderful to be among friends. My dear friend, Ambassador Leiter, whenever we meet, I tell you the same joke that you come from DC. You are used to friendly faces. I come from the UN, so being in a room full of ambassadors, devoted Zionists, it's a great experience. Thank you very much all for your love and support for Israel. I want to thank you for the honor, for the recognition. Thank you, Leo, for being here. I want to thank Mort Klein. You know, Mort, I can tell them, I know you for 30 years, Mort, and I want to thank you for your dedication and love and support and our friendship. My friends, had you told me back in 2020, at the end of my first term as Israel's ambassador to the UN, that I would be back in New York, back at the UN, and back at the ZOA dinner, I would probably tell you, thank you, but no thank you. 5 years at the UN, it's more than enough, believe me. But when the Prime Minister calls you during a wartime and asks you to serve your country, you answer. You say yes, and you know that, Yechiel. You don't ask questions. You report. 2 years ago, we the Jewish people faced the darkest day in our modern history. But today, we stand at a historic moment for our region. We achieved what many thought impossible. All of our living hostages are home. The majority of our fallen hostages have been given the dignity of proper burial, and Adar Goldin will be brought to burial in Kfar Saba on Tuesday after 11 years. We will fight for the 4 fallen hostages, and we will bring them back home. And look at Hamas. They were forced to accept what they rejected from the start, to return the hostages and to disarm. But this moment was not born of chance. It was a result of a unique combination of courage and conviction. And it came at a heavy cost, the sacrifice of our soldiers who fought like lions and lionesses to defend our people. More than 1,100 brave soldiers, officers and reservists have been killed since October 7th. We carry their memory in our hearts. I want to share with you one story of Chief Inspector Arnon Zmura. He fought on October 7th. He pushed back the Hamas terrorists. But a few months later, he was called again as a special anti-terrorism unit fighter. He put his uniform, he left his wife, his children, his parents, and he went back to Gaza to rescue our hostages, Noah Argamani, Almog Meir Jan, Andrei Kuzalov, and Shlomi Ziv, all taken from the Nova Music Festival. In the streets of Nusrat, which is the center of Gaza, he led the force. He got into the building. He got the hostages out, but in the line of fire, he was injured. The hostages were extracted, alive. When they flew back to Israel, in the helicopter, the message was clear. The diamonds are in our hands. The diamonds are the hostages. Unfortunately, Arnon was fatally wounded. He sacrificed his life. He gave everything for our country and for our people. His sacrifice will not be forgotten, just as the sacrifice of each and every soldier who has stood in harm's way for Israel will never be forgotten. Tonight, we salute them all. When I left New York in 2020, I didn't think that the UN could get any more hostile toward Israel than it was. But believe me, every day they managed to surprise me, every day. Since October 7th, the UN Security Council has not passed a single resolution condemning Hamas for its massacre. Not even one. They found time to have discussions about genocide, starvation, all those lies. But we brought the voices of former hostages into the halls of the UN. We fought them. And my dear friend Jeff from the US mission, Ambassador Bartos, thank you for being with us. I want to thank the US mission for the UN. Together we fought to bring Mia Shem, Noah Argamani, Eli Sharabi, a few weeks after we got out from the tunnels, into the halls of the UN, so the world would hear the unimaginable cruelty they endured. Week after week, we reminded the world who started this war and that it cannot end until every hostage is home. Now, Mort, you said we don't speak politics here tonight. And you know that New York braced for Zoran Mamdani to take office. We are, at the UN, we have our own issues with Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations. You know, he hasn't visited Israel even once since October 7th. Think about it for one moment. He's the Secretary General of the United Nations, the organization which was established 80 years ago to prevent atrocities like October 7th, and he couldn't find the time to come to Israel. So when I came back, I met him. We had a very good relationship. I even had him for Shabbat dinners. I went to his house, he came to my house, and I asked him, I told him, Antonio, how come? How come, you know, you have private jets? Come for one day. You know what he told me? The Prime Minister didn't send me a formal invitation. Shameful. Shame on him for that. We also face legal warfare. You hear about the ICJ, the ICC, they come against us. You know, countries that you don't think about it, Norway, Ireland, they come with resolutions against Israel. And I want to share with you that the new initiative of Norway is to pass a resolution that will force us to work with UNRWA. You all know about UNRWA. This is a terrorist organization. They decided to invade UNRWA, to infiltrate UNRWA. And that's what happened before October 7th. And I will remind my colleagues at the UN that those teachers and medics in UNRWA, they collaborated with Hamas. I will remind them of Jonathan Samerano, Zichrono Levracha. Jonathan was murdered and kidnapped by Hamas terrorists. His body was paraded into Gaza on an UNRWA vehicle. His murderer was an UNRWA employee. You can see that video. You know, after this terrorist returned home, he was not met with justice. He was met with a UN paycheck. But don't worry, we found him. We got him. He was eliminated. And when the ICJ advisory opinion will come to a vote in the General Assembly in about 10 days, I will tell my colleagues that no advisory opinion of the ICJ, no report, no resolution will change our minds. Israel is done with UNRWA, and so the US. We are dealing with diplomatic terrorism at the UN. But despite the pressure, the bias, the pain, and the sacrifice, we can see positive change in the region. Lebanon has a short window of opportunity to take control of their future. Tomorrow, the new leader of Syria will visit the White House. I'm sure you will hear very interesting headlines tomorrow coming from the White House. The fall of the Assad regime has created hope for a more peaceful and stable region. Israel has restored deterrence on multiple fronts, from Gaza to Yemen to Iran. For this, we can be so proud of our soldiers, our sons and daughters, who showed the world that the days when Jews were massacred and there was no response are over. Not anymore. Today we have the IDF, we have the Air Force. We have proved that today we are capable of defending ourselves and securing our future. My friends, I am optimistic tonight about our future because in our region, strength earns respect, and we have more than proven our capabilities. I meet with Arab ambassadors, and they admire us after what we did in Lebanon, in Tehran. One of them approached me and told me, Ambassador Danon, I want to come to Tel Aviv to meet the guys who developed the pagers. So I told him, go back to your leader and tell him to move forward with the normalization, because by the time you will come to Israel, those guys will be in the private sector making billions. And I think we will see normalization soon with this country. As Israel's ambassador to the UN, I am sort of a diplomatic weatherman. I'm the first to sense when the atmosphere is changing before anyone says it out loud, or before you hear about it in the news. I feel it in the way I'm being greeted or not greeted, in the small differences in how I'm spoken to, when ambassadors who once ignored me suddenly ask for a meeting. And right now, I can tell you, the weather is shifting in our favor. There is clearer sky ahead for Israel. Whether you call them the Abraham Accords or the Abraham Accords, they opened the door. Now it is time to widen it. Moderate Arab and Muslim nations are signaling readiness. Kazakhstan is set to be the latest signatory to the accords across the region. Yes? Quiet discussions about cooperation that once seemed impossible are becoming reality. Once we finish the job in Gaza, bring the 4 fallen hostages home, and ensure Hamas's disarmament, it will be time to build again. I want to thank you. I want to thank ZOA. For more than a century, you have been the guardians of proud Zionism in the United States. You defend Israel when it is fashionable and when it is not, when it is easy and when it is costly. When others are quiet, you stay loud, you stay clear. The history books will remember October 7th as a day of tragedy, but it will also remember what the Jewish people did in the hours, months, and years that followed. Our nation stood united, resilient, and strong. Together, we will win. Together, we will prevail. Am Israel Chai. Toda Rabba.